So tonight, the first thing I wanted to talk about on our Zoom for starting Coach Basics was two things: business hours and tracking your business. Super simple, but super critical. Super, super, super critical for starting a business, because I will promise you, if you don't set business hours for your business, you will get burnt out so fast. Like, it just happens so fast. It's so easy to sort of just suck your mind into everything that's going on with Beachbody and shut everything else out. And it's completely distracting with the rest of your life. So tonight, after the call, or whenever you get the chance to listen to the call, I want everyone to talk to your family, your spouse, your kids, whoever your family is, and work out your business hours together. Okay, so this is the first thing that I wanted to go over, and just talk a little bit about what you do on those business hours. And one thing I'm going to start trying to do, I think this is a really good idea. I'm liking it. The more I'm like doing personal development on productivity and such, is I'm actually going to block out my business hours on my calendar as if they were, I went to work, right? Like, if you go to work, you have work hours that you show up no matter what, so that I stop scheduling doctor's appointments and things over those business hours. I have all this free time now, and, instead I'll have a doctor's appointment on Tuesday at 8:00, but I have a Zoom at 9, and then I can't make the Zoom, and I could do the appointment at, 11. So I'm going to actually go into my calendar and pick out my business hours for each week and have them as unavailable. I am busy. I have an appointment during that time. And then that way, when something else comes up, I can legitimately say to people, oh, I'm really sorry, I cannot make that because I have another commitment already. And it's my business. It's me working my business. And it's critical to have those hours. So let's talk about how much you should spend when you first start working, and how you should divide up that time. And then that will run into the second thing, which is the tracking of your business and how important that is. So when you very first begin coaching, you're going to need, at minimum 1 hour a day to focus on your business, but really 2. Like, you really can't get it all done in 1. Not if you want to grow and thrive, right? If you're doing it for a discount on Shakeology or dabbling in as a hobby, maybe you could get away with 1. But really, if you want to be able to grow, then when you first sign up as a coach, for at least the first month, a good 2 hours a day you need set aside. And then on top of that, I would set aside a block of time each week for your Zooms, stuff like this, your national wake-up calls, the SOAR Nation Zooms, if you want to jump on those, the bigger team Zooms, and also times where you could possibly get on and call potential customers or whatever. So set aside a few blocks of hours. Mostly I have found that like the Zooms and things with the team and the Coach Basics, we kind of have to do them in the evenings, because that's when there's just too many people's schedules that are conflicting. And so, as inconvenient as it is, you got to find one night a week maybe that you could dedicate to being on Zooms so that you can participate. 2 would be better, because you're really going to probably need 2, like 30 to 45 minute blocks of time of getting on to those team calls in the evenings. So, but other than that, yeah, like that 2 hours a day in the morning. So that doesn't include your workout time. You need to find time to work out, schedule it in if you need to in your calendar, so it says you're unavailable for anything else. And then the things that it does include is creating posts for your page or for your, your timeline for your friends to see what workouts you're doing, nutrition tips. You're going to have to work for a little while on creating good posts, especially as you find your groove. You're going to be, as you kind of start growing, and you're going to be checking in on your current challengers and your current challenge groups. That's something that's really important to get done. The one thing that, okay, I'm just going to go through my daily to-do list, what I do every day, before I get anything else done. And there's a copy of this in Team Hope if you want to look at it and print it out, if your mind works better in this way with like a to-do list. So every day you have to work out and drink your Shakeology. Done. That's part of your business now. Then I find that if I spend the first 10 minutes of my workday on personal, well, I do 30, but 10 minutes is what you want to at least start with. Start with personal development before I sit down and start messaging and get distracted, or I'll forget it. it gets left out if I don't do it first. So that's at the top of my list, is to do personal development. And one of the things that I loved that Tara Carr mentioned at our Super Saturday, Amanda was there, was she, after that personal development time, spend 2 minutes like brain dumping all of these ideas that you've got. Basically, it's just like brainstorming. You're just going to write down all of these ideas that you've had floating. Weight loss. Oh, I don't want to talk about Shakeology. Oh, and just basically you're going to go through all of these ideas. And then later you can go back and create posts about them when you have the time. So just kind of clear your mind of all of these things that are on your list. That's something you could do, and it would take like literally no time. Just, a couple minutes to write it down. Then the next thing you do every single day is you reach out to 3 old friends and just reconnect with them. And do not talk about being a coach or being on Beachbody or anything like that. Just see how they're doing and check in with them. And then, and here's a tip for that too. You do that so you can, be friends with your old friends and contact them. Let me turn on the lights so you guys can see better. And you also need to do it because, we have to be reaching out and reconnecting with people if we're going to have a market of people to talk to about what we're doing. But the other tricky reason that I didn't realize at first, but have since learned, is that if you are private messaging somebody, your posts go to the top of their timelines. It's called affinity. That's how Facebook decides who sees what posts and when. It used to be they just were posted in order of time, who posted first. Now it really is, they try and they have a mathematical equation to decide who is going to get the most benefit out of this time, right? So if you're private messaging people, then your posts go to the top of their timeline. So all of those workout posts that you're creating, all of those before and after photos, those kinds of things, they're going to be pulled to the top of your friend's timeline. So you don't have to talk to them about it. They get to see it on their own. Okay. So then share or invite 3 to groups and 3 to coaching. Now listen, when you first start, and this is how I did my inviting, and I think this is a good way to do it, is I would do a post about it. Okay, so let's say I do it before and after. And I say, talk about how this program has specifically helped me and how excited I am. And then afterwards, so like the next day during my daily power hour, I go through and every single person who liked or commented on my post, I send them a private message. And that just says, thank you so much for liking or commenting yesterday on my post. It really is scary to share those things. And it means so much to me to have just the support of my friends. And that's it. And then, like let's say you get 50 likes on the post, maybe like 15 of them will message you back and you start talking. Okay. And then out of those 15, through my conversations, probably about 2 to 3 will buy a challenge pack. That's sort of how my invitation process goes. So it works for coaching, it works for groups. And then my other favorite thing to do for inviting is getting a free group up and running at least once a month. Something that interests you, something that is totally you. And then you invite them to it and you put them in a group, and then you start the group, and then at the end you do private messaging. So all of that is to see how they liked the group. All of that is a part of the daily to-do list. That's part of your power hour. I use my time to invite from those activities that I've done. Okay, then the next thing I do is I check into my Coach Online office, the COO, and I make sure I check up on the Coach breaking news. I go see if anybody's going to go inactive. I go check on my Success Club points, make sure points went through for orders that were put in the day before, because sometimes they don't, and then I need to contact Beachbody and give them the order number and their email address. So when I have people order, I say, hey, listen, as soon as you order, will you just send me your order number and your email address, and I will follow up with you and make sure everything goes okay. Because if they've ever ordered anything from Beachbody before, a lot of times it goes to the old coach just automatically. Even if they order it through your page, they sign in and then it goes in through the old coach. So if I have their email address and order number, I can just message Beachbody and get it transferred over super quick. So that's part of what I do in my Coach Online office. And then I also email any new customers that I have through leads. So brand new coaches, you guys aren't going to have leads yet. As soon as you hit Emerald Coach and Success Club 5 every month, or 10, you get leads from Beachbody. Those are customers that have bought stuff through their infomercials and other things, and they assign them a coach. This is free money for you, and it's valuable. So make sure you're reaching out to them. For those of you who do have leads and you're wondering what to do, create just a template email Mine says, hey, my name is Amy Crusinger. I'm your free Beachbody coach. I'm here to help you get through your workout program. And I made this short video to introduce myself. I really look forward to getting to know you better and helping you reach your fitness goals. And then I made a quick video about me and about my fitness story. It's a minute long, so it's not long. And then that way they can see that I'm a real person. And that, you know, and I've had much more response from that than a long email. That just works for me. You can also text or call them. If you would do that, you'll get a better response. It's scarier to cold call people basically, but they were told that they were going to be assigned a coach and that coach would contact them when they signed up. So by reaching out, you're just affirming that. That's why I check my Coach Online office every day, because you want to do it the day they sign up, basically. You don't want to wait a whole week to contact them. Okay, so after I've checked into my Coach Online office, sent out my quick template. Okay, that's like, it literally takes me 5 minutes to do all of that. It takes me 5 minutes to reconnect with old friends, you know, 10 minutes to spend on personal development. So far I'm about 20-25 minutes in. And then you want to check into Coach Basics with us, right? Every day. That's another, like, plan on 15 minutes that you're going to need to spend on the Coach Basics training. Okay, and then the last thing you'll need to do is just do your follow-ups. And that's what I leave for the very end of the day. The very end of my power hour is sort of that really quick follow-up messaging, because that's what gets out of control, right? The back and forth messaging. So sending the quick messages, I don't respond back if they answer me. I get those messages sent out. I get the invites sent out, you know, from the likes and comments on my posts. Then I switch over and go into the Coach Online office, get those messages sent out. If you have current challengers, I check in with my challengers, okay? But then I spend the rest, and that's where I spend the bulk of my business hours, is messaging people, right? Or calling them. And so this is where it becomes critical to set those time limits on your time. So let's say I start at 9 and I bust through like most of this by 9:30, 9:40. And my business hours end at 11. Well, I can only message people till 11. And then I put it away, I'm done, I move on, and I come back when I have more business hours. So when I started, for example, I would get up and work out in the morning. I would post on my page and do all of that, get my challenge groups and my workout posts or whatever I was going to do for the day. And then that was it. I was off. I was off getting kids ready for school, getting them out the door, dealing with kids. I had 2 kids at home still. And then at nap time, that downtime in the middle of the day from like 1 to 2, I would do another hour. And that's when I would break out the, you know, reach out to 3 old friends, reconnect, check into the Coach Online office. And then I usually left me with about 30 minutes for messaging. And I would get as much done as I could in those 30 minutes. And then at night, after my kids went to bed, I would finish the follow-up messaging. So that's how I worked my time. And it worked really well to kind of break it up throughout the day when I had that time. Now I have a block of time during the day because my kids are all in school. And so I can schedule my time differently, which is awesome. The other 2 things that I have on my daily to-do list that you guys should really, really pay attention to is 1, do something fun every single day. I love that. That was one of my friends said that one of the other coaches put that on her to-do list. And it's such a good idea. Sometimes you get so busy and crazy that you start hating your job, right? Because you're too busy and it's dragging you down and too many people are telling you no, and it's super discouraging. So doing something fun every day just for you, even if it's just 5 minutes, watch a show, read a book, take a walk, take a bath, soak in the hot tub, whatever it is you need to do to just do something fun for you. Please do something every single day and mark it off. And then the very last thing that you do at the end of the day is check in with your accountability partner, your success partner. And for now, you can check in with Coach Basics, the Coach Online group, and tell us that you got everything done. So this is basically what we're going to be doing next Wednesday. We're going to do this to-do list together. We're going to get on. We're going to all reconnect with 3 old friends together. We're going to do a post together. We're going to do some follow-ups together. So I can kind of teach you what my power hour looks like. We'll be doing some personal development, all that good stuff. We won't be working out, of course, because you guys hopefully will be able to get that done before the Zoom, since it's at night. Okay, and then the next thing I just want to talk about is just tracking really quick. So once you have, so I have my to-do list here, I printed it out, okay, and you can mark that off as you go. There's a couple different versions of to-do lists. There's also what's called the business activity tracker in the Coach Online office. There are so many resources for you, so you don't have to come up with something on your own. Now, if you try all of these resources and you're like, none of this really fits the way my mind works, and you want to come up with another way to track your business, there are even more. Like once you really get going, my friend Bria, she researched a ton of programs, and there's a program called Streak by Google. So it's a part of, like, you can do your Google Contacts, your Google Calendar, all of those things can be streamlined with Streak. And it's basically a customer contact information. So you put them in and you keep track of where you're at in the conversation with them every time you message a person. But at the very least, when you reach out to 3 old friends, when you invite people and like message them for liking or commenting on your post, you need to write their name down somewhere. So whether it's on Google Streak, whether it's on the contact list that Beachbody provides, whether it's just a notebook, whatever it is, write their name down. The one I found that worked best for me is I have this it's a giant calendar, personal planner. And as I'm talking to people, I never leave a conversation without saying something like, okay, I'm going to follow up with you on like Thursday when it's payday and see how things are going. Or if somebody says, right now it's just not a really good time, maybe in May I'll have more time, then I write their name down on May 11th to follow up with them. And I use those lists for my follow-ups. But you got to have a list somewhere, somehow. The Coach Online Office has several resources. If you go into the Coach Online Office, news and training, go into training and hit Coach and also Emerald. It has the do this, know this, and whatever tabs. If you click through those, they have tons of resources. They explain all of these, and you can print out sheets and the business activity tracker and find one that works for you and a system that works for you, but just do something. Okay, so that is it. So tonight, what I want everybody to do, hour after you watch this, is talk to your family and go look at your calendar and set up your business hours and write them down somewhere that's non-negotiable, right? Like in your phone or whatever you need to do. So you're not setting up appointments. You're not doing things during those business hours. Those are set aside for you to work. Like you would show up to work every day, and find times that work for you, because you are going to have to do some evenings most likely. And so you're going to really want to talk to your spouse about this and be like, what can we do with kids and bedtime and us time? Because if you spend all your time away from your spouse, they're not going to be happy about it either, right? We got to have our relationship still work. So you can figure out what works best for you guys. And I can't even, everybody's schedule is different. So try and make something work. And then just share with the group what your business hours are. That way we'll keep track. We'll have accountability that everybody got some set. And then also share with the group which form of tracking you're going to use, the business activity tracker and the contact list, or maybe you're going to use this daily to-do list, the action tracker from Team Hope. And if you are not in Team Hope and need to be, or in SOAR Nation and want to be in one of those, that's the bigger team, let us know, and your upline will make sure you get added, just so that you have access to those files if you want to print them out. Okay, that was all I was going to talk about tonight. And so I'll keep it short. That way people can just listen and get through this first little bit. And then next week we'll do our first power hour together, and you can see what it actually looks like and how much time it takes, and how I spend the bulk of my time. And hopefully we can all kind of learn from each other in that. Sweet.